Yeah, I got this cool call from a guy named Trevor in Colorado. So what was really cool about the call initially was that he was calling from Colorado, and I said, hey, "Go ahead, yeah."
Yeah, no, you're going to go right into it now. Like Colorado, isn't that like the cannabis capital of the country?
Well, that's why I saw your jaw open up, because you were curious about that. That's the same thing that I thought. I said, "How'd you hear about us?" It turns out he heard for our podcast. He was listening to our podcast. He searched for it and found it and really enjoyed it, and said that I asked him. I said, "You're in Colorado. You're in the Mecca. For all intents and purposes." I said, "Why not search locally?" And, he told me in a very nice way that he thought it was a little bit of a shady industry out there. I said, interesting. So he decided to call us.
Yeah, they talk about it being the Wild West, maybe more difficult to find, legitimate, credible people like us.
Yeah, we hope, right? I talked to Trevor for a good long time, and Trevor, his issues were stress and anxiety. We talked about some of the different ways that CBD could help with that. He also was complaining a little bit about some chronic pain that he had. And again, so this was a lot of education about how to use the product properly, using it sublingually, topically, etc. Even pets came up because he mentioned that he has a dog with separation anxiety. So I got into the story about how you use it for your pups, how I use it for my dogs. So it was very, I think, informative for him, and he ended up actually purchasing the product too, which was really cool. But one of the concerns he had was he has a CDL. So we get that question a lot, and, it would probably be a good opportunity to talk to the audience a little bit about what that means. So what do we typically tell people when they come up and they have a CDL license? Yeah,
CDL is a truck driver license, so bus drivers, any tractor-trailer drivers, the regulations are tough on them, and they're typically concerned because there's going to be a drug test or a urinalysis of some sort to find out their THC levels. And with full-spectrum products, or really any cannabis product, there's a chance that there's a trace amount. As Darwin mentioned, the regulations are what they are. But if you do buy any extract, or if there's any hemp CBD, even if it says isolate, there's a chance that there is a trace amount. So we do tell consumers to be aware of that. They obviously use it at their own risk. But when they use it topically, it'll be safe. You won't be able to get the concentration of THC that's in a hemp product through to your urine to actually have a problem. So if it's a aching back or a shoulder or a neck, that type of thing, you can put it. Some people put it on their head for migraines, but they just have to know that there is some risk if you're going to ingest any hemp product.
And that's, and Trevor was willing to take the risk, because I told him to use it topically if he's concerned, but he said, I'm dealing with a lot of pain, and at this point I'm willing to take the risk. It's that trade-off, right? I explained to him that anecdotally it doesn't seem to be an issue, but,
Yeah, that's our perspective, and we're just conservative. A lot of people we hear, people come up and say, oh, no, it's no problem. And maybe that's the case, but we just want you to, it's like buyer beware. Everyone needs to be responsible for their own self. I would hate to tell someone there's no problem, and then they lose their job, lose their career.
And that's exactly what I said. I said, do it at your own risk. Thank you for doing enough research to actually reach out and talk to us before making a product choice. And thank you for enlightening us as to what's going on, at least in his little realm in Colorado. Maybe he searched the whole state. Who knows, but...
Yeah, and I've heard that before also. And the other thing that when you told me about this that I think stood out for me was the shockingness of the multiple use thing for one product, that you can use an oil that's extracted that's not on the shelf, that doesn't say body cream. It doesn't say,
pet treat.
Pet treat.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That it's really the hemp plant that Darwin even said you can just eat the plant as it is and you'd get benefit from it.
Yeah. Our research, we know that if you have a natural extracted whole plant oil, then that's something that can be used by anything with a vertebrae, anything with an endocannabinoid system. So you don't need something like a pet-specific treat, because who knows what other additives are being put in there. Like when I give it to my pets, I just drop it on a soft treat, put it in their food, or drop it directly in their mouth. And I rub it topically on their sore joints too. Or in the case of a cream, you never know what else is in that cream. So, I believe, and you believe, and we're under the impression that a lot of this is just marketing. It's a way to get a consumer interested in a CBD product, and I think the takeaway is you don't specifically need a cream, you don't specifically need a pet product. You can use a natural extracted oil topically, you can take it under your tongue, you can mix it with food, and there's no reason not to try it.